This is a quick tutorial or review of the AP Language and Composition Summer Reading Assignment. The first thing you'll see is obviously you need to purchase a style guide. You can find different editions of this on Amazon for very, very cheap, but I explain here in the little paragraph as to why we're asking, or at least I'm asking you to purchase this guide. Everything we do in AP Lang and everything you'll do from here on out in both AP Lang and Lit and any English class you take here at New Prairie will require you to know MLA format, in some cases APA format. So it's a good idea for you to know the ins and outs of that. The second requirement is to choose one book to annotate and prepare answers in a typed document. This is going to be an MLA format, obviously. I'm going to really quickly kind of go through these questions, what rhetorical context means. Rhetoric is the main thing that we focus on in AP Lang. Given that it's going to be a year-long class, I don't expect you to know and understand the ins and outs of rhetorical context, but I do give you a short explanation here. Remember that rhetoric language rhetoric is simply to persuade. What do you do? What are the ways you get somebody to do what you want them to do? How does an author get you to feel a certain way, think a certain way? How do they take you from one place to another? So that's kind of a thing to remember when you're considering rhetorical context. The thesis statement of the author, this is going to be throughout the entire text. So don't just think I can read the first little bit of the book and understand the author's thesis. You need to make sure that this thesis is carried throughout. The author's purpose, this is again overall purpose. This is not just going to be purpose of a chapter, but you need to consider throughout the text, and you need to support that throughout the text, not just the beginning, not just the middle, but throughout. Every time that I say include textual evidence to support your answer, I highly suggest using multiple pieces of textual evidence, not just the quote, but explaining why you used the quote that you did. Just because you use a quote doesn't mean that that stands alone as support. You don't only have to use a quote. You can choose to summarize, you can choose to paraphrase, but it doesn't really matter what piece of support you use if you don't back it up with your own reasoning as well. The specific intended audience, who is this author intending to write this book to? Kind of take yourself out of the book, if you will, and ask, who would this book best be suited for? Who is this important to? What were the 3 most convincing paragraphs of the book? So why were these so convincing? This is kind of an interesting question, I think, because you don't really think about why an author has to be convincing or what that really means to the text. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with this one. So I'm not going to go too much further into that because I want to leave some author creativity. Here are the books that you can choose from. I do not allow you to go outside of the list, so don't send me emails asking if you can read something. These are it, okay, and they are it for a reason. If you would like to know what these books are about beforehand, I suggest going to Amazon and reading the little synopsis of each book or of the books that you're interested in. And also feel free to use your library cards that we issued out last year. The LaPorte Library has all of these books, so definitely, I should say all of these books. I haven't personally went through each one, but I'm sure they have the majority of them. And if not, you can definitely find them on Amazon for very, very cheap. Please proofread your work. Please proofread. Please do not email me at the very last minute or have your parent email me at the very last minute. That just tells me that you waited until the very last minute to do your assignment. I would suggest reading and working on this a little bit every week, continuing to read your book. And then as you're reading, going through and not just highlighting, but doing a really good job annotating and making notes throughout your book so that way you can go back and answer those questions. It's always good also to take notes at the end of each chapter of major things that happen and how they contextually matter to the overall thesis or purpose of the book. That will definitely help you. The last little thing, do not wait until the last minute. Rushing is a guarantee that it will not be your best work. We will use this book and the book that you read for the first 2 to 3 weeks, so don't think that this assignment goes to waste. So summer reading is not just this torturous thing that we have you guys do, but it's something useful that we utilize throughout the beginning of the year, and it gets us started. We have to hit the ground running. So enjoy your read. Pick something that you really think you like. And if you don't like it, give it the first 30 pages, and if you hate it, pick something else. Nobody's forcing you to sit down and read a book that you absolutely hate. Pick something else. I didn't say you had to read the first one on the list, so that's right, there's 21 of these. You also don't need to ask permission to change your book. I don't need to hear from you literally whatsoever. This is your reading assignment. Do the best that you can. Use your best judgment. You will be better off trying and doing what you think is best than asking me every little thing about the assignment. If there are questions, I can't guarantee I will answer you instantly. I'm going to be out of town for the majority of the summer, but I will get back at you as quickly as I possibly can. Thank you.